maybe Brittany can help us.
Yeah. Normally the way we did it, it's a little bit different. Okay. Thank you. It's a little bit different. It has to do with our rules of procedure, and when we came out to Pahoa, we kind of let that be lax a little bit because we knew a lot of people wanted to respond to the presentation. That was kind of a special circumstance. Our rules of order are, you take testimony beforehand. If you want to change that, I would highly recommend talking to the clerk and or the council chair to see if something is done. I'm not sure if a motion to suspend the rules is appropriate to do so, but I would highly recommend if enough people call, they'll at least take it into consideration. But as it is now, our normal rules, and the problem is, if you start doing it once, at what point do you put a limit and say, no, we can't do that anymore? Then you have to provide that every single time, which makes it very difficult. Normally, once we go into our agenda, you deal with the agenda. And once that agenda is started, you stop taking public testimony. So that one's a really sticky one. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to change that around.
Could you do it this way? Could you take comments before the presentation and after the presentation? Because I'm going to tell you that after that presentation, a lot of people that didn't think about what the heck these people are going to say are going to have a heck of a lot to say after they present.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Legally, I would highly recommend even throwing Lincoln and Sheeta on there with Corp Council. Yeah. So talk to the Corp Council and the council chair. Yeah. That one's going to be a really tough one because, again, at what point do you... Okay. Well, you made an exception for that group. Why aren't you going to make an exception for me?
Thank you, Brittany. I think Dominic Ugong will be here in a little while, and we can ask him. He's the council chair. He's the person that can probably tell us whether that... I've got Jan over here with a question.
No. Point of information. Brittany,
yeah.
You as a member of the council, any member of the council, has the authority to call back somebody for additional information. So if this group can designate an expert or two, and Brittany, if you agree to call them back after the testimony, then it is possible to bring in other information to contradict what the health department says.
The group has to pick a spokesperson, and then you guys got to just be able to live with that decision. I have no problem doing that, but I'm not going to call back every single person that comes forward to testify.
But there is a procedural way.
There is a procedural way.
I think...
How would you define group?
I think that when Dominic gets here, hopefully we can ask him, because I kind of agree with Joyce. Like, we don't really know what the Department of Health is going to say. We can get up there and we can give our testimony, but then they could blindside us with something that we're not aware of. So hopefully, I understand the problem with, we don't want to set a precedent that this is going to happen all the time. So I don't know. We'll have to ask Dominic about that. Is there any other questions? Mike?
Is this at the Hilo Council Chambers?
Is that meeting at Hilo?
This week?
July
2nd.
July 2nd. I think it is.
Yes.
July 2nd is the one on the 19th. Is not this Tuesday, I believe it is. It's going to be in Kona, but you can testify here in Pahoa. You can testify in Waimea or also in Hilo via video conference.
8 a.m., right?
The 19th is at 9 a.m. and the 2nd is at 8 a.m. Sherry?
Hi. Will we be able to do even the July 2nd one here in Pahoa?
Yes. You can do any council meeting. You can testify at any of the satellite offices. Aurora.
Just in regards to the July hearing and the Department of Health, just for a point of information, my understanding the Department of Health is their toxicologist is going to say that from all their monitoring data that it's perfectly safe around PGV. But what she fails to mention is the Department of Health removed both air monitor stations out of Puna Gardens, which is the closest subdivision to PGV, and also out of the Valley subdivision. They were removed either late 2010 or 2011. So they have no basis in which to make comments that it's not that it's not toxic. At the same time that the Department of Health removed the air monitors from 2 closed subdivisions, PGV built a second power plant without notification to the county or to the residents.
Okay.
So, just a point of information.
Okay, so kind of in regards to help people prepare for this and just to get knowledge, one of the things we're doing is we're building an archive, a database of all different types of information that you can all access online. The website for that is punapono.org, and there's links there. If you click on links, there's all categories. One of the categories is health. Under health, there are at least 6 studies that show long-term low-level exposure to hydrogen sulfide is a health issue. It's just something that the Department of Health is saying is not true. So there's a lot of information. Basically, low-level exposure to hydrogen sulfide is not unique to geothermal. You have it in paper mills, the oil and gas industry. There's a lot of industry that produces hydrogen sulfide at low levels. So for all these years we've been looking at this, they haven't wanted to study it because it's going to be very, very expensive for all of those industries to control the low levels of hydrogen sulfide. So that's what we believe has been going on. So I would suggest that anybody that really wants to testify in a second, and I hope you all do, will go to the Puna Pono site and read those health studies so you'll be able to testify to the fact of what's in there. Greg?
Yeah, we have copies of the infamous Fred letter when he supported all these buildings. But anyway, what I'm looking for at the moment is for any of you folks that have any information, either contact Bob or put it on the website. But the only time that, remember that Billy Kenoi did the same thing. The problem is that I haven't been able to find any letters from him to the state. And if anybody else knows, has this information, or how to get it, please contact Bob or anybody else, because what we need to do, this is ammunition so we can defeat that bugger in the next upcoming elections. So, because the only information I saw directly, was from the paper after, the big party, the pro-geothermal party on the west side of the island when the governor came over and said blah, 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 crap.
I will say, when Billy Kenoi came out to the community and did his presentation, that he promised that he was going to bring the state out here. I mean, that's on video, and there were 100 people in the room, and he said, I promise you that I will bring the state representatives and the Department of Health out here to explain what they're doing to you, what they wanted to plan here with the geothermal. He hasn't done that, and I don't know. I don't think he's going to do it. He also said that he had no idea, he didn't know anything about the cable. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I don't want to stand there and knock Billy around.
Yes, Rod. Back to the bills before the council, in particular Bill 256.
Is that on or I can't hear you?
A little bit.
Hello?
You're on it.
Yeah.
All right. In regard to Bill 256 in particular, it changes it back to public safety. It might be also good to have folks contact the mayor so that he doesn't veto that bill.
Okay, I think that actually is a good idea, but that was why Dominic is introducing Bill 267, because he wants to create a continuation of the Community Benefit Fund, which should make it a lot harder for Billy Kenoi to veto Bill 256. So yeah, please come and please testify. It's amazing. I got to tell you, I've been doing this for a long time, for 25 years, and it's really amazing the response we've had from the county council over the last couple of months. I've never seen anything like it. They're listening to us, they're responsive to us, they're producing legislation for us. Now, not our council person, but the 5 people I mentioned earlier. We need to need to participate, you know, we need to let them know that, you know, we're paying attention and that we appreciate that. And in order to do that, we have to show up. Puna, by the way, is the community that shows up at these meetings. Brittany?
Just real quick, in terms of Bill 256, as you guys may remember, since it cuts out the community benefits package, you guys would have lost your Pahoa office. We did put I put an amendment forward to make sure you guys kept the funding for your Pahoa office. The mayor, we got the message that the mayor signed the budget, so you guys' Pahoa office will remain open. So I just wanted to make sure you guys all know that. And since this coming meeting, we're all going to be in Kona, and you're likely to have an empty dais in front of you, I would highly recommend packing the Pahoa office so people understand the importance of having the satellite testimony sites in areas where the people actually are. Just a comment.
And the way to do that is to talk to your friends and your neighbors and your family, because you know, everybody is working, everybody's busy, everybody has a lot of things to do, and it's a really, you know, it can be really time consuming. I go to hundreds of these things, and but if we want, you know, I mean, we're going to stop. We're going to have 1,000 megawatts of geothermal power all over Lower Puna, or we're going to stop them. And if we're going to stop them, we need you guys to show up, and we need you to get your friends to show up, and everybody. Thank you.